frequency has shifted instantly. Welcome to the Be the Energy podcast, where we don't talk about it. We activate it. We act on it. We feel the fears and we do it anyway. We are here to be the highest versions of ourselves. You are the frequency. You are the strategy. You are you. So a few things we covered today. And if you're new here, leave a comment, share it with a friend. I would love to meet more people and hear from you guys. The feedback means everything to me, especially as a manifestor of human design, if you're into that. So we're going to talk about why forcing energy never works and actually holds you back. We're going to talk about how it feels like we are getting distracted, but we may just be pivoting, and how to find the difference. We're going to talk about the awareness block, how we can be too highly aware, how we know if we're led by purpose or external validation, how anger and revenge never serve, and how to find why you get to that place. I want to help you connect to your unique story, your path, and how you can inspire others with yours. I want to show you some stories about control and how we can let go of those things that are outside of our control. I'm even going to talk about how to market yourself authentically and not needing strategy whatsoever, and how to embody the frequency that magnetizes people. And lastly, how to be certain on your path and not overthink everything. Tune the frig in, stay focused, let's have some fun.
Look, will I ever be the greatest? I already am. It's the place to come from, not just where I land. All my gifts come straight from God. He said, fuck a plan. I know that might sound odd, I don't doubt the man. He told me as a fetus I was needed since I took my first breath.
What is good? God, it feels good to be back on the microphone. Just got back to LA yesterday. I'm riding the jet lag from Florida. I woke up at 6 a.m. natural, just went on an hour-long run. The endurance block begins. Your boy's got to get faster by going slower for longer. Welcome back to the Be the Energy podcast. Right now, tune into this moment. Where is your mind? So often we are focusing on what we don't have, what we're missing, where we want to go, and we are not here. And yes, we are ambitious freaks. We want to live the most high vibrational life we possibly can. We want to speak like a poet. We want to live like kings and queens. We want to make our impact in the world. We want to reach our highest potential. And we do this by being our most authentic, present self. Today, I wanted to jump on here because I did High Rocks this past weekend, and I am lit up. You can see my mindset going in, my prep, and all the details of how it went on my YouTube. I had a very high energy video about that. Super fun. First vlog in a while. And a little bit more about just mindset. Like, it's not my journey. That's what I want to talk about today, is owning your path and your way of expression. I got some client stories, so we'll just jump in. So one of the first stories I'll start with is High Rocks, and how the second I finished, I did not feel good about my performance. And I also had the awareness of, what if my path right now is the best path? Meaning I did a poor performance, but I am excited by the fact that I did not as good as I wanted, and then I do really well, because that is relatable. Say, for example, I finished in an hour 26, and if I want to do a sub hour, I am so far from that. But how much better of a story is that? So I bring that up to share with you guys. Wherever you are in your path right now, it's so easy to be like, why am I doing this? Why? I'm not the one that should be performing in this way. But High Rocks lights me up. And how much more fun is it going to be when I have that transformation? And so often we look at our own path and say, why am I doing this? But your path is unique for a reason. And then by me thinking that, yes, I'm doing it for other people and I'm trying to inspire them in terms of this mindset, but it lights me up. Like the thought of going to a sub hour from an hour 26 gasses me up. And when I think of dunking, that's what happened. I was not supposed to dunk by all standards. I was the shortest out of all my friends. So that's what makes the stories great. So take a look at what path you're on, what step you're on in your path, and are you saying, I'm so far from this goal, I'm not made for this, but what story do you get to tell by living that change? Another one is, my client has a lot of my clients are going through breakups or it's a lot of always with relationships and money, and there's just experiences from his past relationships that I want to share that are really helpful for you to notice right now. Every time you sweep something under the rug that is of value to you, you are building a wall. You are building blocks that are blocking and building that wall that start to limit you. So over time, he was saying no to this energy that's authentic to him, saying that's okay, that's a red flag, that's okay, I'm just going to let it slip, that's okay, I'm going to let it slip, I'm not going to be my most authentic self. Turned out to be a poor relationship, and now he feels so poorly how it ended, he can't even go to that city that the person lives in because he's so afraid of running into that person. Not because he did anything wrong, but because it just is such an energy that he kept pushing away. Now, you didn't face it when it was small, and now it got so big that you don't even want to go to a city that you love. So just notice that. I say that because so often with my clients, there's little fears that come up that don't want us to act. And if there's one thing you get from today's transmission is don't act directed by fear. As freaks, we are highly aware and we allow ourselves to feel everything. And it could be trembling fear, but the master feels it all and doesn't let it change his direction. So feel it all, take a breath and say, what is the truth here? Because so often we let that fear make the decision because we think it's protecting ourselves. So for example, the phrase keeping the peace in a relationship. So often we're saying, I don't want to ruin this moment. I want to keep the peace. And that means you didn't speak up when you wanted to speak up. And that builds. And now you kept that peace, but you swept that energy under the rug. And that fear decided, because the fear was, I'm going to disturb the peace. But the truth is, you have something you want to say and you didn't. So it can get tricky. And that's what I help with. That's what coaches help with. They can help see because they're not in your mind. They don't have your patterns. And another client, some guy has a big social media following and he spreads rumors and the other guy doesn't. So he doesn't want to interact with that guy in case he says something online about him. He can't defend it because he doesn't have his own social media presence. But he's not going to say anything wrong. So again, it's acting out of fear and it limits his experience because he's afraid to run into that guy. So he doesn't go to certain coffee shops or doesn't go to certain places around town. And now that just limits his experience. But his mind was saying, I'm protecting myself. I'm keeping a low profile. But he's not doing anything wrong. So it's just fear pointing him the wrong direction, giving him actions that are actually limiting his life experience. So just notice when these limits, it seems like they're small. It seems like they're just trying to protect. It seems like we're playing it safe. But in actuality, we are limiting our life experience. And life is short. And what are you doing? You're not just, it's shortening your life now. You're building walls that grow bigger and bigger where you can't even be yourself. You can't even be present. And more on that, acting out of fear. There's so many things outside of your control. So another client had a poor breakup. It was a toxic relationship. And then they still talk as they're trying to kind of decoupling. It's not a black and white situation, but they are split. And in the relationship, he would always give, and be more of a doormat. And he didn't like that about himself after the breakup. He's like, wow, I can't believe I was acting that way. And then the person wants to talk to him because she wants closure, but he's healing. He doesn't want to step into that arena. He doesn't need to. He said his piece. He did the authentic thing and stood up for himself. Then he finally gave in because he felt he was in a lonely state and he gave in. And they started to talk and she just treated him disrespectfully again. And he felt like a doormat again. And the point is he was thinking he was so angry that he let himself do that. And he was angry at her for disrespecting him. But the truth is, he allowed himself to be disrespected again. If this person time and time again disrespects you, and you finally took the high road and said, I'm going this way, I'm not allowing this anymore. And then when you're in limbo, and you have nobody, and you've been with somebody for years, and your old patterns for years are saying, every time I'm alone, I do this action, it's like an addiction, and it's going to have withdrawals. But the second he acted on that and stepped back into the arena, he allowed himself the susceptibility to be disrespected. And it's okay. And the other thing about that is you can only be disrespected if you allow it. And more on that allowing is that he was angry at her and he wanted to just tell her, you don't get to do this. I'm done. I'm going to block you. But that would be acting out of anger and out of revenge. And the downside of that is now he's not a man he wants to be, because now he's letting her dictate his emotions, which is the whole point of the work that he's trying to do. Not let other people's thoughts about him direct him. For example, he thought, now she thinks she can just do that to me. She thinks she can just walk all over me. But whatever you do, you can't control what she thinks anyway. So if you act on that, you're going to be always acting out of external things that you cannot control. So the high road, the practice, is noticing that you're getting stirred up by the way someone else perceives you and saying that sucks if they think that. Even if it's true. Like, for example, if I went for a run and I fell on my face and I'm embarrassed and I say that person thinks I'm a failure, right? Do I have to let that bother me? I can feel it and it does bother me, but I don't have to let it make the decision of the next action I take. So the tool here, the practice, is notice what is causing your emotions. The second you feel a low vibration, anger, revenge, you're trying to hide, you feel contracted, let those be your signals that you are not in a good state, and then ask yourself why. I am angry because of the way she thinks of me. She thinks she has the power over me. I'm afraid of what this guy might say about me. I'm afraid of what the public might say about me. I can't defend myself. These are things outside of your control. So now here comes the courageous action for you freaks. Noticing those energies, noticing that you can only do things within your control and you have to let go of what's outside of your control, feeling that fear of taking the action despite the control, whether it's not talking to the person, whether it's going out in public where you might get recognized or you might run into the person you don't want to run into, and saying, no matter what happens, I can handle it. Feeling all that fear and taking the high road, taking the route of truth, taking the route of what if the good thing goes well. You have to act in that way. Because if you don't, you are letting fear decide and it's going to keep you in that low vibration. Boom. So what is outside of your control? What is inside of your control? And who do you want to be? That is why we call this being the energy. Now, a lot of times, awareness, when you're highly aware, it can cause blocks. Because if you listen to these situations I just gave, you're thinking of all these different ways. You're thinking of what other people think. You're thinking of what if it goes wrong, and it escalates that way. We're so highly aware we can see all these patterns, but we don't see the positives because we're afraid. So often the high awareness can actually be a block because you're thinking too much about all the different ways things can interact. From what that person says, this person says, the different past and future possibilities. It's too many things. So are you being present is another key to help you act in alignment. Now I have another huge awareness for myself, which was really fun. I've seen this so many times that I think it's really helpful for you guys to notice. During this High Rocks week, I traveled to Florida on last Wednesday, a week ago, and the competition was on Saturday, and I couldn't do anything besides prep. All I wanted to do was train. All I wanted to do was focus, document my experience, spend time with my family. I couldn't make my music. I couldn't work on my business. I talked to my clients, but I didn't feel like marketing my coaching business, all the things I was normally doing. And the old me would have freaked out. The new me realizes, like, I am so inspired right now. And that is the key to finding your courage in the moment. That trusting that your energy, your vibration, your inspiration is the greatest thing you can do. So for example, when I got on that starting line, I'm freaking bouncing with energy, hyping people up. By the way, nobody was hype. You can see it in my vlog. It was 7:50 a.m. People were just like in their own zone. I'm like, let's fucking go. And nobody was really with me, but it was hilarious. But anyway, that is my vibration through the roof. Hype on a million. I could have died right there happy as a happy man. And so the point is, that is me working on my business. That is me finding my wife and aligning with her. That is me doing the best I can for my clients because my vibration is peaked. So I live a life where that is my indicator that I'm doing the most productive thing. And that flows into everything. Even when I go to sleep, if I am exhausted, I'm not going to try to work on my business. I'm not going to try to inspire people. I need to rest. So it's so simple. So I encourage you to ask yourself, are you living inspired? If you've been listening to my content recently, I am planning and embodying the most inspiring man in the world. That means I want to live in spirit as many moments as I can, which means connected to my highest frequency and being the greatest activator of human potential. So how effective I can be at inspiring you. I said I want to be the greatest activator of human potential. I don't know if my computer's glitching, but here we go. Okay, so every moment inspired, how free is that? You get to just be in the moment, living at a high state of joy, and when you're tired and resting, in a deep state of peace. That is my goal, and that's what I want more people to live as because it's beautiful and it feels so great. Okay, so I'm training. I feel amazing after High Rocks. All I want to do is make my vlog. All I want to do is make content about it. And by the way, all that content did amazing on social. Like just posting about that I crossed the finish line got so much engagement and reactions. And that's not why I post it, but it's just a beautiful reminder for me that when I am lit up, that energy translates. So the point I'm bringing up is people that are listening to this that are entrepreneurs or marketers, meaning trying to scale their own business or trying to get clients. The best marketing, even if you're in a company, in a job, in a 9-to-5, the best role you can be is lit up. You do not need better strategies. You do not need to learn more things. You need to be in the energy of your highest joy. That is the greatest marketing. That is the greatest way you're going to inspire people. That is the greatest strategy, is being your highest light. You're going to be radiating. And the fear for me was I was so deep in this wave of High Rocks. I'm like, I can see my old mind going, whoa, I don't care about music at all. I don't care about building my business right now. All I want to do is be an elite athlete. But I've been doing it for so many years, not just athletics, but in these waves that I notice them so frequently. Because sometimes I'll get in a wave of music. I'll be like, all I want to be is a rapper. That's it. I don't care if any other thing happens. I just want to be a rapper. But over time, the beauty of getting older, over time, I noticed these waves and I could ride them beautifully as they come, not getting caught up in them. For example, in the past, when all I wanted to do was coaching or rapping, you can think of either example, I would switch all the way and let go of the other ones, meaning I'm never coming back. This is my thing because I had a lack mentality thinking, I need to find the right thing. I need to find the one thing that I do to be successful. That's it. But now I know I want to do all these things. And the way I found that out was over time. I love training. I can't go too long without training. I love music. I can't go too long without music. I love speaking. I can't go too long without blabbering on this podcast. I just love it. I can't go too long without coaching or speaking to my clients. I love inspiring people. So over time, the love just keeps bubbling up. And it's not about choosing one. It's about designing your life and allowing yourself to be pulled by the inspiration. So another way to look at this is that inspiration of the High Rocks was such a pull. And so often we don't allow ourselves to be pulled by inspiration. So I hope today is a reminder to allow yourself to be pulled. Take the courageous step. Trust that when you're inspired, you're radiating at highest frequency. It's going to be the best thing for your business, for your clients, for your relationships, for your family, for the world. And that is it. That is a freaking great bar to freaking land on. And just know that you are the transmission. Your energy is felt. Especially as a manifestor, if you do human design. I've been doing it for my clients. It's freaking fantastic. We want feedback. And in my latest song, People Pleaser, I say that. I'm like, feedback would be nice, but I don't need it. So let go of it. A big key that I haven't mentioned in all of this is when you have these fears and you take these actions, let go of the outcome. Notice when you're thinking what's outside of your control, and one of those things outside of your control is the outcome. So after today, you're sparked up right now. Let yourself be pulled. Notice the fears. Notice the outcomes you want or don't want and say, I don't care because how I feel right now, this is inspiration. If you need any help with that inspiration or finding it or removing blocks, that's what I do. I would love your feedback. Leave a comment. I read every single comment. Share this podcast with another energy freak to spark people up. We need more freaks in this world living in their highest frequency. So I love you. I hope you have a great friggin' day. I'm fired up. I know I'm going to crash at some point from this jet lag or something, but I'm just so grateful. And I hope you take a moment to be present right now at all the magic that's happening in your life, in your world, all the people you interact with. Look them deeply in the eyes and say, wow, that is me. I see myself in this person. Connect with everybody. And also say, I don't give a fuck what you think. I'm also just me. And just have fun. Have some fun. We're all going to die. Allow yourself to get close to death. Let's have some fun. Whoa. Enjoy.
The universe, my plans, and they left that shit on red. I be ghosted by girls. Now I'm hosting the world's most famous toasting. My celebrations notes. Used to treat my bars as jokes. Now I spit them like a pro. They got drafted NBA off the lips of LBJ. Even kings need motivation. I'm patient. So much soul, they debating. Is he Caucasian? Saw myself famous. My third eye LASIK. $50,000 for a show. What's the price of inspiration? Think you know me, won't forget me. In this moment, never met me. This one new, 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 this one new. Do you get it now? It's a memory to pass. My own family don't even know to have. Who the fuck you think this is? Everything you think is wrong. My whole DNA expanding by the ending of this song. One blink and I'm gone. One blink, turn her on. Don't think, hit the gong. Up in the present, guess that's why I stick to rapping. Don't think I need no kids, but I still can stick to practice. Don't think I